All right, hey everybody. I know we did that install for Kevin down at Dragonborn Tattoos a couple weeks ago. We're just working on getting that video put up. I wanted to make this intro to explain why a couple of things we did, like with the moisture barrier and the gluing of the boards. What happens is here's your hardwood, if you can if you can see that there. This your tongue, your groove side, and whenever all that's locked together, as you can see here, it doesn't they don't lift up from each other. So when it's down, it does like this. Now, whenever we tear out a floor to reuse it, like we did there in this case, you see how it broke off the bottom of the tongue, and it's not there anymore. So whenever this comes up here, that piece can now just lift up, since we only nail in the front here on this area here, and we usually rely on that groove to lock into that tongue, keep it from lifting up. So what we do is we put down a roll-on moisture barrier for the glue to adhere to, because we use paper. Well, that doesn't it's going to work very well. So we put down the roll-on moisture barrier, let that dry, and then in front of every row we put down here, we put the glue down in the back, board sits in it, can't lift up, and then we nail the front. And then it's just as good, if not better. You also use that in applications of anything over 5 inches, or 5 inches and over in width of your boards. And a few particular other kind of engineered products require it and whatnot. So just in case anybody is curious about why we were gluing in addition to nailing, that is why.
All right, so this is, as you can see, the red on the floor is that roll-on or liquid moisture barrier, as I was talking about, that we're using instead of paper because of the glue. Right there, what you can see I'm doing is I'm putting in what's called spline or slip tongue. We use that on when you have two grooves going together like that. When you're on your first row and you butt up to it, it makes sure gives you a tongue so that you can lock those together, and then you can go both ways across the room, as you'll see. So we nail that down, nail the first row, get the other row, slip tongue, all that put in, and then we start laying the floor in. As you can see, the one row of glue, every row has one row of glue in the back. Keep that going, and we nail, on a nailing schedule every 6 to 8 inches across the boards, as well as the glue. And then once all that's dry, it's locked down nice and tight, no movement. So I was using a Milwaukee 12-volt caulking gun for my glue. Don't really have the right plunger for it, so as you can see, I had to go back to the old school style sausage tube handheld one there. Need to get that other plunger, but that's what that is if anybody's curious about it. And so when we do the install, you start in the middle. Typically, you start in the middle of a room. You work your way from the middle to both edges. That minimizes any differences or out of squareness that you might encounter in a particular room or on a given wall, bow, whatever it may be. That's why we do that way. On this side, you see we kind of racked it out a little bit. It's a little more difficult to do, especially when you got reclaimed boards, so a lot of it has cracks or damage that we're trying to sort through while we're putting it in. And with the gluing as well, it's harder to do. Typically on a normal just nail down install, we rack out the whole way across the room, nail it all in, do the last bit along the walls, pinching that in, and you'd be done. It's a lot quicker. This one took so long just because of sorting through everything, getting the more brittle wood to get to go together. It's a little more challenging, but it's worth it in the end. This turned out really nice. You see the pictures on our Facebook of it. Took a really nice. The graphite stain looked really good on maple. It's the first time we've done that, and just was really pleased with the way that turned out. You'll notice my blue flooring nailer there, my Primatech gun. I love that thing, but it only gets within 3 rows of the wall there. As you'll see, that's the last row I'm able to get. Then we have to go in with the 15 gauge pin nailer, and what's that little flooring jack. You'll see that put some pressure, puts everything nice and tight against the wall there. And that's it. Do that all the way up to the wall, rip the last row in, and that's how we install a floor. So, all right, hopefully you guys found that interesting, at least a little bit. If so, like it, share it, and subscribe to our other channels. if you've got any of your own projects you might be working on, go head over to our website, bravozulu.homes, and fill out the contact form there, and we will be in touch.